Today we're going to be using a chair. This is a yoga chair without any back to it, but any type of folding chair or something similar can work as long as it has a good support that doesn't have wheels on it, so it's not going to roll away from you. And today we're going to be focusing on using the chair as a prop for certain standing poses. So one of my favorite ways to just sort of inform where our body is downward dog. And using the chair can be really helpful to notice where our tension and tightness is in our body. So we're going to begin with a down dog using the chair. So position your chair with the back of the chair towards you and step back a little bit. You want to keep your hips over your ankles and bring your hands to the top back of the chair. Make sure you draw your belly in slightly to protect your low back, and you might start by bending your knees a little bit. And then Miss Zoe comes along and just wants to say hello. And as you take your hips back and draw your belly in, notice how this feels in your shoulders. Yes. Notice how it feels when your cat rubs against you and says hello. So just notice how this feels, especially into the upper back and shoulder area. It might feel sort of tight. That's okay. So remember that. And then thoughtfully walk forward, especially if you have a cat between your feet. And just come back to a Tadasana and pause. And just from that one pose, getting into the shoulders and upper back a little bit, notice if you have any sensation, maybe any tingling or warmth. Just notice what you're feeling. And we'll come back into that pose in a little bit. We're going to get another stretch, going a little deeper into a forward fold. So this time you might start with your hands, top of the chair. Bend your arms as you hinge from your hips. And then notice where your hamstrings say, that's it. And then you might need to bend the knees just slightly. Hinging from your hips, maybe bring your hands or fingers to the seat of the chair. Watch your head on the top part of the chair. Make sure you don't bang your forehead on it. And especially depending on the type of chair you are using, it might be a little different than this. So just be aware. And notice how those hamstrings feel. If you can go a little deeper, if that feels okay, notice how that feels. Focus on keeping your spine long and just using the support of the chair with your hands so you don't go too far. Bend your knees as much as you need to here. Keep your spine long and then maybe start to unbend the knees a little. Notice how that feels. If there's any strain in your lower back, bend your knees more. And then slowly walk your hands back up. One hand on the back of the chair and then the other. Slowly walk yourself towards the chair and pause, coming back up to Tadasana. So notice what you're feeling here. Notice any sensation in the legs or upper body. And we'll also get into our feet and legs a little bit. So hands on the back of the chair. Feet start out parallel. Lift your heels and then lower your heels. Notice how this feels. Make sure your ankles feel okay. Getting into the calves and ankles. And then lower your heels. Bend your knees. Chair pose. So make sure your hips are going back a little bit. You could keep your hands on the chair, or you might bring your hands to your heart. Notice how that feels, and bring your weight into your heels. And then hands to the chair, slowly come up. And again, pause. Notice sensation. So now let's come back into that down dog we did earlier. Fingers or hands on the back of your chair. Walk your feet back. Keep your hips in line with your ankles. Your feet are flat on the mat. Hands on the chair, arms straight, or if your shoulders complain, you might need to bend the arms. Actively press down onto the chair as you take your heart towards the mat. So you're getting into the upper back and shoulders here. Core is active, drawing your belly in slightly. Notice how this feels. And then again, slowly come up. Walk your feet towards the chair and pause. Notice sensation. So if I move the chair around, so the seat of the chair is towards me, another variation of the down dog, taking the feet back, hips again in line with the ankles, bringing your hands to the seat of the chair. So now your hands are a little lower, a little deeper stretch into the shoulders here. Make sure your spine is long. If this is too much for you, you might need to walk closer to the chair and be more upright, like here. If you can go deeper, your hands can go towards the back of the chair, bringing your heart closer towards your toes. If you need to, you might have to micro bend the knees a little bit. If this is too much in your shoulders, don't go so far. And then slowly bringing yourself back up, hands to your hips, and then back up to Tadasana. Pause once more in Tadasana. Notice sensation. So another nice stretch and support using the chair is a wide leg forward fold. You might be stepping wide on your mat like this, having the chair in front of you so you can put your hands on the chair. Feet are parallel, legs are strong, spine is long. And then hinging from your hips, coming forward, forearms onto the seat of the chair. You might stay here, or you might support your head, maybe stacking your hands, or just staying up on your hands, whatever feels best. So that would look like from the side, something like this. Long spine, and you might rest your head on your hands and stay here for a few breaths. And then on an inhale, coming up, and then coming into a twist, depending on the seat of your chair and the frame of your chair. So first a twist to the right. Keep your right hand where it is, just about under your shoulder. And reach your left hand either to the back seat of your chair, the back right corner, or the frame of your chair, depending on what type of chair you have. Try to keep your spine long. And as you reach your left hand there, across the right, so you can also hold the back of the chair, which can feel really good too. So you're going to get a stretch along the left side body. So the left arm is straight, the right arm is bent. and you're twisting to your right. Great stretch, but make sure you don't go too far. Inhale, slowly come back up and pause. And then other side. Keep your left hand on the chair, right at the front left corner. Keep your spine long and reach your right hand to the back left corner of your chair or onto the frame of the chair if you prefer. Keeping your right arm straight, lowering your right shoulder as you bend the left arm and twist to your left, taking your hips back slightly. You can also lower that right arm right onto the seat of the chair, the arm that's reaching to the back. That might be more supportive for some of you. And then inhale, slowly come back up. We'll place that right hand to the front of the chair again. Hands to your hips. Inhale, slowly come back. Heel toe your feet together and pause. Notice how you feel. I hope you enjoyed that brief session today, getting into the shoulders, the legs, the upper back, finding a lot of different things you can do with the chair. It can be very supportive, very helpful, as well as informative to what's going on in your body. So thank you again for joining me today. Be sure to check out some of the other videos, and I'll see you next time on the mats.